Hey everyone, welcome to Sidetrack Adventures. This is Steve. Right now we're in Turkey, and I don't mean Istanbul. We're in Turkey, Texas, a small town near the edge of the West Texas Plains. And when I say small town, this town is only a couple of blocks long. But today we're going to explore the town of Turkey, and then we're going to head a few miles north of here to where the West Texas Plains end, and the terrain gets a little bit more rugged at Caprock Canyon State Park. Now, if you've followed this channel for any length of time, you know that we've had some bad luck finding bison. Apparently at Caprock Canyon, the Texas state bison herd reside there. So we'll see if our luck changes today. Turkey, Texas is located about an hour and a half southeast of Amarillo, or about 75 miles as the crow flies. Or I guess I should say, as the turkey flies. This town got its start around 1890, when settlers first moved into the area. Originally they called it Turkey Roost because of the large population of wild turkeys that could be found around here at the time. In 1893, when the first post office opened, they shortened the name to Turkey. The first thing you notice when coming into town is this monument with a fiddle on the top. This is a monument for Bob Wills. Bob Wills is known as the king of Western swing and was extremely influential in country music. He's not only in the Country Music Hall of Fame, but also in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as well. Born in 1905, his family moved to the Turkey area when he was a kid. He worked at the barbershop in town before moving to Fort Worth in 1929, where his career as a musician really took off. I have to admit, I'm not really familiar with his work, but I was told he was my grandfather, who was born and raised in Oklahoma's, favorite musician, so I've probably heard him countless times as a kid. Bob Wills was also a movie star, having appeared in 19 films, mostly in the 1940s. Next to the Bob Wills monument, there's this arrow. This area was Comanche territory from about 1700 until they were defeated in the Red River War of 1873 and removed to Indian Territory. Here's a turkey statue in front of the fire station. If I had to picture a small West Texas town, I think Turkey is pretty much what I'd imagine. It looks like some of the boards on the door of this building are missing, so let's take a quick peek inside. And it looks like there's more trees on the inside of this building than on the outside. In 1914, the population of this town was about 250. By then, a bank, a hotel, a general store, and 2 grocery stores had opened. A newspaper called the Turkey Gobbler began publishing in 1919. It looks like they're currently restoring the barbershop. This is the actual barbershop that Bob Wills worked at before becoming famous. There is stuff everywhere for Bob Wills, and the town actually holds a Bob Wills Day every year on the last Saturday in April. There was a big fire here in 1928 that destroyed most of the town, but also that year the Fort Worth and Denver Railway came through, making Turkey an important shipping point for farmers and ranchers. The population reached about 1,000 in 1929. According to the sign as you drive into town, the population now is about 494. We just reached the Gem Theater, where they show Bob Wills films during Bob Wills Day. This movie theater opened in 1928 and started showing talkies in 1931. A pretty cool old-style checkerboard design here. Let's head over to the Hotel Turkey, which is one of the most historic buildings in town. Check out this really cool painted billboard. And also some free advertising for Lone Star beer, I guess. And here is the Hotel Turkey. Opened in 1927 in anticipation of the railroad coming through. The building was mostly completed in June 1927 when it was destroyed by a tornado. They began rebuilding and got it open in November of that same year, though. The hotel was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1991. Probably the most famous guest who stayed here was President George W. Bush and Laura Bush when Bush was still governor of Texas. The town's heyday was in the 1950s, and the population has steadily declined since then, but there are still some businesses open. Turkey is also home to the first Phillips 66 gas station that was opened in Texas. This station opened on July 27, 1928. It looks like the station even has an attendant still working. Back then, buildings, even something as simple as a gas station, had character, and that's severely lacking today. Here's a Bob Wills tour bus. I think the key to happiness is finding someone who loves you, like Turkey loves Bob Wills. This building's called the Turkey Roost. Looks like there's a plaque on it. Let's see what it says. Okay, so this is pretty hilarious. It says on March 2nd, 1836, Texas declared her independence from Mexico. Wild Comanches roamed the plains. Rangers protected frontier settlements, and this building was not here yet. There's also a Bob Wills museum here in town, so let's head over and check that out real quick. Here's the old high school. It was built in 1928 and closed in 1973. I believe the museum should be in here. And the museum's closed. It's unfortunate we don't get to see the museum, but I do feel like we did get our fill of Bob Wills just walking around town, so it's not a total loss. Turkey is a really cool town, and everyone we ran into here was extremely friendly, but it's time to head a few miles to the north, where the West Texas plains give way to the Caprock Canyons. Everything is so flat out here, and this flatness stretches hundreds of miles through West Texas into New Mexico. These plains are known as the Llano Estacado, and it's one of the largest mesas on the North American continent, encompassing about 32,000 square miles. Here's the Midway Drive-In. This opened in 1955, but it doesn't look like it's been opened in quite some time. Now we're at Caprock Canyons State Park, which is the third largest state park in Texas, and it's where the flat West Texas plains give way to the Red Rock Canyons behind me. Texas State Bison Herd. We haven't seen bison in quite a while. We even did a bison tour not that long ago on Catalina Island and saw no bison, so I'm not getting my hopes up just yet. Maybe I spoke too soon. We haven't even left the visitor center yet, and already we see a bison mom and child. Wow, we're in the car now, and there is an abundance of bison here. At the visitor center, they said there are about 300 bison in the herd. We aren't supposed to get too close to them, but we're pretty much surrounded at this point. She won't go on camera, but we just figured out my wife is allergic to bison. We rolled the windows down to film these guys, and within minutes her eyes are tearing and her nose is running, so maybe it's a good thing it's taken us so long to find them. We went from having bad luck not seeing bison to having bad luck with too many bison. This is a prairie dog town, but there are bison hanging out here, so we can't get super close to see the prairie dogs. Luckily, there are a few prairie dogs here that aren't near the bison. These are black-tailed prairie dogs, and they are definitely keeping an eye on us. You gotta wonder how the bison avoid breaking their ankles in all these prairie dog holes. Check out the view from here, looking into the Caprock Canyons from the edge of the West Texas plains. When early Mexican explorers came through here and saw this, they said, "There are mountains below the plains." This area has been home to humans for over 10,000 years. They found sites here dating to the Folsom culture, which is from about 10,800 to 10,200 BC. They found bones from an extinct bison that had been stacked like this for some reason, possibly some ancient ritual. Now we're going to head down to the bottom of the canyon to get a look up at the Llano Estacado from below. We're really only scratching the surface of this park. There's quite a few hiking trails, campgrounds. You can easily spend a week exploring this place. We've made it to the bottom, and it's amazing to think that on top of those cliffs, the land is flat for hundreds of miles. So that's our look at the town of Turkey, Texas, and Caprock Canyon State Park. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you next week.